and welcome to Trail Grazers, where we focus on good things to eat on the trail. And I'm just home from work, as you can probably tell by what I'm wearing, and I don't have time to change clothes because I'm going to get dinner going right now. Now, one of the things that I do sometimes when I am making dinner, I'm going to fix something anyway. I will cook a really large batch, and then we will freeze dry part of it. And that is what is going to happen today. We are going to have loaded chili for dinner. I've already pulled some cornbread out of the oven. And so we're going to get this chili going, and then I'm going to make a big enough batch that it will fill 4 freeze dryer trays. Now, if you do not have a freeze dryer, one of the alternatives that you can do is when you get it all cooked and cooled, you can put whatever amount in a gallon Ziploc bag that your family would need, and then lay it flat so it's this becomes this sheet of frozen chili. And then you can just stick it in your ice chest. It will act like ice and help keep other things cool. Then when you are ready to thaw it, it thaws even and much more quickly since it's all in one layer. So that is one alternative way that you could use this recipe. It is not safe to do this recipe in a dehydrator, so please don't do that. So what we have right here is, I have my little butane stove. This is totally off-grid. This is one that we sometimes take into the on the trail with us. It depends on what I'm going to be cooking. That will inform which cooking utensils and cooking equipment I'm going to take. So I'm just going to turn it on. Now, when we use this in our kitchen,
it's there.
Okay, thank you. We have the back door cracked open, and we have our carbon monoxide warning alarm right in place. This is supposedly safe to use in your kitchen, and I trust that it is. I would never do this with anything propane, but butane is okay. So what I have here and what loaded chili is, I hope you'll be excited about this. I have several chili recipes that I have used over the years, and I keep coming back to this one all the time. It is a fun recipe. Chili is very forgiving the way I do it. And so sometimes I just kind of use what it is that I have on hand. So I have about 2 tablespoons of olive oil in the pot. Now, this is really my jam pan. It's called a Maslin, M-A-S-L-I-N, a Maslin pan. It has a very heavy bottom, and it's flared out this way. It's especially designed for cooking jam. I use it for everything. I really think this is my single most favorite pan. In fact, I get more requests for, Pam, where can I find this? Where can I find it? So now I've just put it on our Amazon store to make it easy for you to find. Go look at it there if you're interested. If you can find it cheaper someplace else, by all means, get it someplace else. Okay, so this is ready to go. So I have 1 rough chopped onion right here. It's a large onion. I'm just going to dump that in. And I need probably the equivalent of 2 or 3 cloves of garlic. So I'll tell you, I really like this already minced garlic. When I come home from work, I just don't want to deal with garlic. So this is very nice. Okay, so we're just going to let this saute until the onions are translucent, and we'll be back. Okay, so Jim is up on his ladder, so now I really get to look up to him more than I do just normally. But he wanted to see the inside of the pan, which I think is a great idea. All right, these onions are ready, and now we're going to start loading this chili. First of all, I'm going to use 3 different cuts of meat. Now, that's what helps make this a loaded chili. This is just beef chunks that I'm putting in. This is about 1 pound of hamburger, I think a little bit more. You can use what you have on hand. You can use ground turkey, you can use pork, you can use whatever you want, or you can even use about 3 pounds of just one single kind of meat. Now, if you're making this completely from food storage, you could even use your home canned beef chunks or your home canned hamburger if you have those on hand. So the next step now is now I have the smoked sausage ready to go in, but I'm not going to put it in quite yet. We're going to let these brown just a little bit, and then I'm going to put the smoked sausage in, and then we'll be back. I went ahead and added the smoked sausage. Now, what you might want to do is to cut these meat pieces in a little bit smaller portions. Like some of these chunks of beef are pretty big. I maybe should have cut those smaller, but I like to know what's in my chili. I like to see what it is I'm eating. So I usually go on the side of larger chunks. That's why I rough chop the onion instead of really dice it. Okay, now we're going to add the rest. This is such an easy chili to do. It's brown the meat and then dump and then let it simmer. And that's all there is to it. So we're going to get to the dumping part right now. So I'm going to put in 2 cans. These are the large 28-ounce size cans of tomatoes. And you can use any tomatoes you want. I have out there on my shelf petite diced, so I use what I have. So I have 2 of those cans going in of the tomatoes. Then I have a 6-ounce can of tomato paste going in. I quite like the taste of tomato paste in chili. I have 3 cups of beef broth going in. And this can be your homemade beef broth. It can be from bouillon. It can be just whatever you want for it to be. Now I'm going to put the spices, and I have them right here in this dish. Let me tell you what they are as I dump them in. So I have 3 tablespoons of brown sugar, and I also have a teaspoon each of salt and pepper, and I have 1 teaspoon of oregano, 2 teaspoons of cumin, 4 teaspoons of chili powder. Now you can also put jalapenos if you want more heat. Jim and I don't care for jalapenos, but we do love green chilies, and I have out on our food storage in our food bank out there, I have some freeze-dried green chili. And so I'm just going to drop in a little bit of green chili to give us a little bit of heat there. We like the taste of green chilies. And we will adjust the heat a little bit later after things have kind of blended together. And those rehydrate almost instantaneous. How much do I have? I have on the side, on the inside of this pot, I have a scale of how much I have. I can't quite read it because of the food on there right now. I'll have to look at it in a minute.
I can see it, but I
can't read it. So this is 9 liters, so that's got to be at least 6 liters.
I can't really tell.
Yeah. Now we're going to load it up some more, and we're going to put in 2 quarts of beans, 4 pints, and I'm going to use 4 different kinds of beans. So these are my home canned pinto beans, 1 pint, and these are not flavored at all. This is just regular pintos. I don't like to flavor my beans before I can them in most cases. I like the versatility of being able to add seasonings later. These are Great Northern, more that I've home canned. We have a combination of home canned beans, and if I see them on sale in the market, I will also pick them up. And so I have some that are aging out on me. So I have a can. I have some home canned black beans, but these are older, so I'm going to be putting these black beans in, but I'm going to rinse the black beans first. Drain and rinse. I broke the handle off my strainer, so it's just a little bit awkward. And then same with the kidney beans. I'm out of kidney beans home canned, so, but I've ordered about 50 pounds, so we'll be doing some more. Okay, there is our loaded chili. Now what has to happen is it needs to simmer all together for about an hour. So we're going to let it do that. And then we will be back. But I'm going to stir it up first so that you can see how beautiful this is. This loaded chili, 3 kinds of meat, 4 kinds of beans. The green chili flakes have already rehydrated and are mixed in. So we'll be tasting that probably about halfway through. All right, so we're going to let that simmer for about an hour and we'll be back. We are back and this is done. Look how gorgeous it is. I was finally able to read the little label on the side. We have 6 liters, so I did a pretty good guess on that. So the next thing we need to do is dish it up into the freeze-drying trays. Good thing about that little stove is that it doesn't get hot to the touch, so that's just great. Okay, so here we go, and I kind of want an even distribution of the meat and everything, so we'll do that, and when I get these all done, we'll come back. All right, so we have 4 freezer trays full. And if this just doesn't ever look beautiful. I love the color of the beans, the white beans and the dark beans together, and then the variety of meats. It just looks so wonderful. These will go out in our regular freezer for a couple of days, and then they will go into the freeze dryer, and that will probably take about 24 to 27 hours. And then we will be back when these are done, and we'll show you what we do with them. Meanwhile, for those of you that want to know more information about freeze drying, we have a book that we've written that is up on our Rose Red Homestead bookstore, and I will put that link right here, and it is also in the description of the video. You can check out that book if you like, and then stay tuned. We're going to come back because I'm going to dish it up for us for supper, and you can see how it looks on the plate. Perfect timing. It is just about the time that we usually eat dinner in the evening. We each have a nice bowl of chili and a nice warm slab of cornbread, and so it has been a very successful evening doing this batch of chili, loaded chili. And so we will let you see the outcome, the final outcome, in just about 3 or 4 days. So here we are. We're, what, Jim, 3.5 days?
Something like that.
Yeah, later. And here's what it looks like from the freeze dryer. It's turned a little bit of a darker color. And I want to kind of taste some of the meat to see how it is. And what we're going to do is we're just going to break it in large pieces and get it into these jars and bank it out there with our food, so that when we get ready to go someplace, we can, okay, so here's one of those little smoked sausages. See how they are? Completely dry. These will rehydrate. It will take a little bit of time. These are not going to be instant rehydrate, but they will work just fine. So you can pack these. We bank them, as you know, in these 2-quart jars. and then repackage them however you want. If you would like to, let's see, I'm going to use this big wide funnel. Now I'm testing this to be sure that it's completely dry. You know, some of this meat is a little soft, and maybe it doesn't dry completely. Maybe it's as dry as it's going to get. I'm going to put that smoked sausage in the oven, and now that one's dry. Yep, that one is dry. Some of these are a little soft. The soft ones I'm going to put in the oven and bake them just a little bit longer to be sure that they are completely dry. If we put soft foods in these jars and package it with everything else, then it's going to ruin everything. So we want to be sure that everything is completely dry. So I'm glad these little things happen when we're doing a video to let you know that there are ways to fix things if they don't go exactly right. So also what that tells me, now I've made this chili a lot. I have not freeze-dried it a lot. And this is the first time I have used smoked sausage. So I may elect not to use smoked sausage if I'm going to do a batch for freeze-drying. Everything else is completely dry. All right, I'm going to finish filling these, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how much I've pulled aside to go into the oven. All right, so we have 3 2-quart jars of this wonderful loaded chili ready to go out into our food bank for us to then later repackage any way we wish when we go in on the trail or out camping or whatever it is that we're going to do, or I just bring some in for supper one night and don't have to go to all the work of cooking it all over again. So that is just great. So I'm very happy about this. This is a good yield. This is the amount of the smoked sausage that I pulled out. I think I pulled out just about every single one of them. And I'm going to re-dry these either in my dehydrator or else in the oven. It will only take a couple of hours, so they would be safe in the dehydrator. Jim asked me a really good question. He said, how are you going to redistribute those evenly among the 3 jars? And so I thought for a moment and realized I will not be redistributing them. I'm going to package them separately, and then as we pull one down from the bank to use, I will just add a few in each time to compensate for what I may have taken out. So this was a great adventure with a great lesson, so that we can be always mindful of when we freeze dry foods to make sure that they are done completely dry, and if not, then we need to make some other arrangements to be sure that the food is going to be safe for us. So thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you very much. Check out our bookstore. There's always things there. I'm also going to start uploading some surprises up there. So keep checking out that bookstore. And we're really looking forward. My vacation is coming up, and we're headed up to Bryce Canyon. And so this is one of our meals that we will definitely be taking with us. So thank you for joining us, and we will hopefully see you on the trail.